Hi.
Hi.
Oh, it's so lovely to see these familiar faces. Monique, I don't think we've ever actually had live time together, have we?
Yeah, once,
We
like
did. Okay.
2 years ago, maybe.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Very cool. Well, it's great to see you again. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, I know it's been so long.
It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Well, guess what?
glad
I have some good news for you. Yeah, this is big. Me and Alan are going to be moving back to Kansas from Missouri, and it gets better, girl. We're going to be in the Overland Park area. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm so glad.
So happy. So
Oh,
happy.
that is so cool. Yay. Wonderful. I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm really happy to hear that news. Really good.
Yeah, it has been a couple of years for me, let me tell you.
Yeah. I can imagine. We should get caught up soon. That would be really good.
Oh, yeah, that would be amazing.
Yay. Cool. And I see Jessica Otter. Jessica, are you able and willing to be on screen with us? How does that feel for you? This is not a martini, it's water, I promise. It's just an acute glass. Okay, Jessica may have stepped away. Joya. Hello, Miss Joya.
Hello.
Hi. Oh my gosh,
Hi.
your hair looks so long.
Oh.
Smile, girlfriend.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I think I'm going to join also from my phone, so I can use the audio from my phone and the video from here. Okay.
Yep, that sounds good. I do a similar thing. Really cool. We'll just give it another minute or two. There were a bunch of people that signed up and said that they were not going to be able to make it. So we may have a small group while we're live, and that is perfectly cool with me. That just means I get to give you all a little bit extra attention, and you know, they'll get the recording later on. So hello to the people who are watching the recording. I'm just going to open my notes here. Yeah, we'll give it one more minute just in case there's anybody else that wants to show up. In the meantime, go ahead and let yourself get settled. If you want to grab a notepad or journal and a pen, have those things close by. We're going to start with just some really brief breathing together once we do get started here in a minute. But have your stuff close by so that you can take notes later. And all of you know me, so I don't know that I need very much of an introduction. Oh, Sharon Walker. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. I don't know that I need a whole lot of introduction, but I'm Yeshe and Yeshe Chodron, and I am a spiritual guide, mentor, and also a life coach. And I serve awakening women who want to live from their soul. And I help walk them through the stages of soul growth, stages and phases of soul growth, so that they can, you know, live from their soul with a sense of confidence and joy, having some fulfillment in life. Cool. I'm seeing a couple more people come on. Okay, that's Joya's other thingamajiggy. Great. Welcome, Sharon. I don't think we've ever had face-to-face, have we?
Yes, a long time ago.
A long time ago? Okay. Maybe, oh, you're right. It may have been like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. I'm really glad that you're here.
Thank you. Me too.
Beautiful. Cool. Well, let's get started. Let's go ahead and start with a nice deep breath. So go ahead, and if you wouldn't mind to mute your microphones, that would be great. Cool. And Jessica, if you can hear us later on, you know, it's not required that you stay on camera, that you come on camera, but later on, if you'd like to share, you'll be welcome to share, even if you don't want to come on camera. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that too. Since we can't really see if you're hearing us, I'll just trust that you are. Okay, so invite everyone to let your body really settle down into your seat. Especially your sit bones and your tailbone. And then allow your spine to grow up out of your pelvis nice and tall, creating a little bit of space in between each vertebra. Remember that your neck is part of your spine. And let your head just gently rest on top, sort of like it's floating on the top of your spine. And you can let the front of your shoulders kind of move wide away from each other, and then relax your arms down. You just rest your arms or hands in whatever way is comfortable for your neck. And just notice how much space is in your torso right now. We'll breathe in and out through the nose. And we'll just do that together 3 times in a very simple way. So breathe in through the nose all the way down into the bottom of your belly. And exhale through the nose just as slowly and evenly as you did your inhale. And see if you can make your next one even more slow and deep. Inhale slowly, deeply, all the way down to the pelvis now. And exhale from the pelvis all the way up and out through the nose. And one more time, have a nice deep, slow inhale. And exhale slowly and completely. And just allow all of yourself to come into this present moment, into this shared sacred space. Allow your heart to hold the questions that you might have. Allow your heart to open to any information that might feel new or inspiring. Allow your full self to be engaged here tonight for this hour that we have together. And then as you slowly begin to open your eyes, you can bring some presence into your body if you like. If that feels good for you. You can tap your feet, can maybe rub your arms. Maybe you want to press on the top of your head or around your head or tap it or anything that feels good. Just give your body some presencing. Yeah. Very good. Awesome. Yay. So I want to take a moment and just briefly introduce Sharon. So Sharon Birch is going to be offering a whole lot of support today. And mostly she's offering support in watching the chat in case you have questions. She's going to share the slides She's going to also share the handout that's available. And she's also going to do something that feels really important to me, which is we've created an agreement beforehand, because I know that I'm long-winded. And some of you already know that too. And so in order to really respect your time and the boundaries that we've put in place for this hour together, Sharon may lovingly interrupt me if I'm going on too long, or she may lovingly interrupt me if there's a really important question in the chat. And we've set that agreement up ahead of time so that it's not something that's, inconsiderate or anything like that. It's actually a support. And I just want to share really briefly that Sharon is a stellar and amazing shaman. And she's also a very accomplished nurse entrepreneur. And those are both of the two ways that I know Sharon, but she's also my very dear soul sister. So yes, exactly. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, perfect. So yes, thank you, Sharon.
My pleasure. Yeshe.
I'm thrilled. Oh, and she's also doing the recording for us, and you'll all receive the recording as well. And those of you who are watching the recording, hello, and I'll see you in an email pretty soon. Okay, so I wanted to start with having just a really brief conversation about some of the ways that healers tend to feel insecure or unsafe. And I know that right now in the world, there's a lot going on. Politically, there's a lot going on since the pandemic. There's a lot going on with a lot of trauma that's being unearthed, both within ourselves and within the earth herself. So there's a lot on all of our plates, right? And as healers, I'm aware that we want to show up as our best in order to hold the most pristine energy that we can, and in order to offer ourselves and our gifts in the most brilliant way that we can. And a lot of times we have a lot of stress, like all those things that I just mentioned, those things bring about stress. And I'm curious, because I know that stress is also very subjective, and having a lot or going through a lot is also very subjective. And I'm curious if anyone would like to share just a word or two about what, as a healer, what's happening for you right now that's creating a sense of not feeling secure. Anyone want to share? Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead, Victoria.
Time management, work-life balance. That's a big one for me, because right now I work Monday through Friday, and because there's been a lot of drama at my work, I'm now pretty much stuck working 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Wednesday. And it's essentially put me in a position of having no life. Like, I get home, I cook dinner, and I feel like I just go to sleep. And so that leaves me drained. It leaves me frustrated, because we all know we're not here on this beautiful earth just to work. But sometimes that's a situation you find yourself in. So I feel like it's really hard to step into the role of healer when there's no time for myself.
That is the gospel truth, sister. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, can anyone else relate to any part of what she spoke into? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being so transparent and sharing that. I'm just going to take a breath and check into, yeah, let's have one more share if possible, and then we'll move into the next piece. Anyone else want to share, either whether it's the same or something different? Yeah, Joya.
Let me see if I can find.
Oh, there we go. I have beyond unbelievable stress. And I know I'm here for helping the earth move on into her new self. And my husband too. And we're in our, like he's 80 and I'm 77, and we're in an assisted living home. He has frontal lobe dementia, Alzheimer's, and a heart that's bleeding, literally. So and he has many things wrong. He's doing great at the moment, and but he's been through a lot, and being transferred for the first time in our life into a huge community with everyone that has all kinds of other problems, and all of that, plus myself and how I respond to everything, is beyond enormous. And any more that I can gather for myself is great.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Sharon, that's a lot. Thank you so much for sharing with us so transparently. I am deeply, deeply grateful for you bringing that into the space. And you absolutely have my empathy and compassion for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's interesting what I'm hearing and what both of the women spoke into so far is space, having space for ourselves. And sometimes that's time, and sometimes that's, physical space, and sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's emotional space. But what I'm hearing is, having space for ourselves. Joya, did you want to share briefly before I go to the next thing?
Yeah, in addition to having the space, I mean, I personally feel like I do get some time to myself, but my day job does still take a lot out of me. So at the end of the day, I might get, I get time to myself, but I don't have time to, for example, put energy into doing what I really want to do, which, is to be working as a healer full time in my own business. And so the main stress for me is just that using my gifts and my skills in a way where I'm sustaining myself financially and setting myself up for a financial future as well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's that. I think it's translating these skills and into real world material things, really. It feels like sometimes like the real world kind of like bogs me down with like responsibilities and bills and that kind of thing. So I feel like there's a disconnect still between my spiritual side and what I do as a healer, and like bringing that into the world so that it's a material thing that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis that sustains me as I'm helping other people.
Yeah. I really feel that. How I'm interpreting what I heard you say is not just space, because you have space for yourself, but also the right kind of support for yourself, whether it's financial or whether it's the ability to grow your business, and to bridge from doing a job into doing work that you love. Yeah. Thank you for that. Boy, you ladies are sharing deeply. I'm grateful that you're willing to bring all of that into this space. Thank you for showing up in the ways that you are. What I'm hearing from everyone really does lead us into the next thing. Oh, actually, there's a piece that I forgot, and it's the 4 C's. And the 4 C's I feel like are super important, and you're all already doing them. The 4 C's are an agreement for those of us that are sharing this space and those of us that are watching the recording, the playback. The first one is to be current. So I love sharing about what's current. A lot of times, especially those of us with, like a history of trauma, which many of us have, I'd be willing to say that almost everyone on American soil has some kind of connection with trauma in their lives. And so being current helps us stay out of things like flooding or going into a spiral and that kind of thing. So being current, being conscious. So in other words, being present, right? So in addition to being current in terms of time frame, like speaking to things that are recent, unless it's pertinent to speak about a memory, but speaking to things that are recent, also being conscious is being aware that we're in a shared space. So sharing what you feel safe with sharing and asking questions, that we can answer in this space. And of course, you may not know whether a question can be answered in this space, but, doing your best to be conscious about the fact that we're in shared space. And my sense tells me that you all know what that means. Okay. Keeping confidential. This one's important because, as you've already started to do, we're going to be sharing some powerful pieces of information with one another, some of them really personal. And I just want to have a little raise of hands that we're all agreeing to keep this confidential. So if you're watching the recording or if you're here live, please know that what I'm asking for is that if you want to share something that you've learned, that's great. And please share without mentioning names, okay? If you want to share your own personal experience or something that I said, you're free to mention my name and you're free to mention any of the topics that we discussed, but please don't mention anyone else's name and feel free to mention your own experience as well. So just a little raise of hands that we can all do that. Awesome. And consent. With consent, this really is about what you're comfortable with. And again, what speaks to your safety. If I'm asking for a volunteer of people to share and you don't know if you feel safe sharing something, it's really okay that you don't raise your hand. It's really okay. And if you do want to share something, it is absolutely your choice. So consent is speaking into that. So thank you for that, for sharing that slide. And I apologize that I forgot to mention that ahead of time, but here we are. Okay. So, yeah, we talked about having stresses, and again, you all beautifully shared about the stress. What I had on the slide was about stresses in your work environment, and what I'm hearing us speak into tonight is the stresses that prevent you from even being present in your work environment in the ways that you want to be as healers. And so we'll continue on that thread. So I want to invite everyone to, this is going to be a little exercise, and we'll just take about 5 minutes to do this. Yeah, I'm actually going to have a deep breath for a moment and just get a little bit more present with you all. And you're all welcome to have a deep breath with me. Great. Thank you for that. So some of what you've already shared is really pertinent to this exercise that I had planned for us that we'll go into now. And so again, I invite you to get comfortable in your seats, and you're welcome to either lower your eyelids or close your eyes. This is sort of a guided meditative experience, but it's something that I find, and not but, and it's something that I find to be really powerful. Something keeps pausing me. I'm going to take a moment and have a deep breath once more. I want to speak about boundaries and knowing your truth. So one of the ways that, I guess this sounds a little bit dramatic to say, but this is the word that I'm hearing coming through. One of the ways that we can be robbed of our sense of safety and security is not being clear about what our truth is. And another way is by not holding boundaries with that truth. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah. Okay, great. So I find it really important to, with myself, with my clients, with my loved ones, with everyone that I know, really, that I've had these conversations with, I find it really important that we be clear about what our truth is versus what our soul's truth is. I'm going to go that deep and say what our soul's truth is versus what is our wounded self's truth versus what is our egoic self's truth versus what is the truth for someone else, which honestly, we can't really ever know, right? So it's really important that we be clear about our own soul's truth. And when we're clear about our own soul's truth, we can actually voice it, we can act on it, we can protect it, we can hold it sacred. And that's where boundaries come in. So many times when we find ourselves lacking time and space for ourselves, when we find ourselves without the support that we deeply desire and deserve, we do lose the integrity of our boundaries. We do tend to lose sight of our truth, right? And so this exercise that I want to bring us into here, I'd like for you to move into a space where you're remembering a time where your boundaries maybe lost their integrity, where your truth wasn't so clear to you, and you started behaving and feeling and living in a way that isn't as secure as you want it to be. Okay. So I think I was being paused because I needed to set that up before the exercise. So let's go into the exercise. I'm sorry, did I need to pause, Sharon? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so let's go into the exercise. So settle into your seat and let your spine be nice and long and tall. Let your eyes either relax or close completely. Have a deep breath at your own pacing. And I welcome you to move through the memory bank in your mind. And find a time where you did not choose your truth. You did not choose yourself. And I know that sometimes it can be difficult to remember these moments. We won't stay here for very long. Allow yourself to move into that space of when you didn't choose yourself. And it might be something that's like so short, because a lot of times that that decision to choose someone else, or that decision to choose a wounded self, or that decision to choose an egoic self can happen so fast, like in the split second. So just allow yourself to be in that one experience, whether it's with yourself or someone else. And slow down that scene. Move into the space that's right before the moment you didn't choose yourself. Just take note of what you were feeling in that moment, right before you made that decision. And now you're invited to change the scene. So feeling what you felt, you're invited to now choose yourself. What would that look like if you were to just choose yourself in that particular moment? Just in this one moment, choose yourself. And just breathe into that moment of choosing you. And watch how that scene unfolds differently. Feel what happens differently when you choose yourself. Trusting your soul's truth and choosing that, choosing you. Really good. Breathe into that new scene as if it's real, because it is. Breathe into that new scene in a way that informs your cells, the cells in your body, of this new truth. If you need to, you can allow your body to move into that new truth a little bit. Really good. Yeah, it might be just kind of turning your torso, or getting some space in your neck or shoulders, or opening and closing your hands, whatever feels good to inform your body that you're in a new story. Yeah. Really good. And to complete this process, we'll have one more deep breath at your own pacing. Good. Good. And when that feels complete and you're ready, you can allow your eyes to slowly open to the room around you again, and to come back to join us once again. Beautiful. Great. This is a good moment to just briefly make a note or two about your experience. And we'll just take about a minute for that. And while you're making your notes, I'll just mention that Sharon is sharing the handout for tonight. Is a worksheet, or It's not really a worksheet, but a play sheet, an experiment sheet, a tool. So just another couple of seconds. Okay. Okay. Do we have time for one share, do you think, Sharon? Okay. If one person would love to share a bit about how that was for you, we would love to hear that. Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
for me, it felt relieving, like
Mm.
a burden's been lifted off my shoulder, and it reminded me that I need to take back my power and energy.
Mhm. Your kitty agrees.
He's in the window. All the birds are going to bed and he's going crazy.
That's great. Wow, that's really beautiful, Victoria. Thank you for sharing that. You're right. That's a really powerful realization, to take back your power. And look at how, I wasn't in your experience with you, but I could feel everyone really moving through this piece, which was beautiful. And look at how small of a moment it required for us to choose ourselves, right? Like it can happen in a split second to make a different choice, right? I know that we often in the healing community talk about, I'm going to clear my field. I'm going to claim my power. I'm going to do all these things. And yeah, sometimes it is big and verbose like that. In my personal life, I've found that the greatest, most significant changes happen in little tiny moments like that. Thank you for sharing that. That was powerful, Victoria. So I'm going to share a couple of stories and a couple of tools. And I'm going to read the story from my screen just because it's a little bit easier. And you can look at the handout for each of these tools. What you see on the screen here, why am I safe? Presencing in the moment. I'm going to share a story and a tool around that. Okay. So I'm going to share that Kenya and I were in session discussing an incident that had recently occurred while she was driving. It was nighttime on a local highway, and she didn't see a tire in the road until she hit it. Her car sustained significant damage, but she was physically fine. As we were talking, she was holding her notebook and pen very tightly, and her shoulders were scrunched. Her legs were like twisted up close to her body, as close to her body as possible. And maybe you can remember a time where your body was doing this kind of thing too. We did this brief exercise I'm about to share with you all in a couple of different ways. It took about 3 minutes, and immediately her legs untwisted, her shoulders released, and she even shifted her notebook to the table next to her. And that was a great victory. So I want to share with you these exercises. So this why am I safe? It's kind of like one exercise in 3 parts, and you can do either all 3 parts or just one part. So I'm going to share briefly so that I can try to stay on track with time. And the first thing of why am I safe is really, it's kind of like making a mental list. And if you want to, you can write the list, but making a mental list of all the reasons why you feel safe. Oh, I'm sorry, I went out of order. Hang on. I just opened up the handout myself. I apologize. I'm going to backtrack and we'll do the first one first. So number one is one of my favorites because it is so quick and simple, and it's somatic, which I feel like we get the biggest bang for our buck with something that's somatic. And so our nervous system is really cued into what's going on behind us. And if we don't know what's going on behind us, our reptilian brain starts to get a little antsy. And so a really great way to calm your nervous system and to quiet the reptilian part of our brain is to just look over your shoulder. So I want to invite all of us to take a moment and look over one shoulder. Just take a look. Yep. Yeah, even if there's a wall right behind you, really good. And then look over the other shoulder. Okay. And just take a notice how you're feeling. And let's do that again one more time. Look over your shoulder again, the first one. Notice how there's no threat behind you. And look over the other shoulder. Again, confirm how there's no threat behind you. Super simple. We can do this anywhere, right? And just take a notice of how much calm that brought to your nervous system. Even though we're in sacred space already, you could feel that it's even a little more calm. I could see a little bit of a nod from a couple of people. That's great. Cool. Really good. So the second one in this why am I safe, presencing in the moment activity is sort of filling in this sentence. Where I stand or sit, I am safe because, and you can just name 3 things. And this is the one that I was starting to explain at first, which is you can just name something like, I'm safe because the floor is holding me up. I am safe because I'm in my home and the door is closed. I am safe because I am here with myself and no one is here to cause me harm. Or I am safe because I'm here with someone I trust and I don't have to be by myself. So take a moment and just list either in your mind or on your notebook, 1 or 2 or even 3 things. I'll just give us a few seconds to list, why are you safe in this moment? Why am I safe? I am safe because. Okay. Cool. And again, you have the link to the handout in the chat in case you want to use this tool for yourself, these practices for yourself later. And the last one is slightly different, but almost the same as this second one. And it's naming 3 things. So evidence that I am safe in the present moment is that I can see a certain number of different shades of one color. So for example, as I'm sitting at my desk and I look, I can see in my sight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shades of green. Okay, so it can be just, you would just choose one color and see how many different shades of that color do you see. Okay, so just take a look around your space in front of you. Pick a color. How many shades of that color do you see? Really good. Notice what that feels like in your body. For me right now, I can feel that in my heart center. I can feel my heart center just kind of like relaxing and spreading as I look at, I forgot how many I saw, the 7 or 9 different shades of green that are around me. And see how that feels in your body. What relaxes for you as you do that. And again, you can come back to this exercise anytime, whether you have the paper in front of you or not. If you're at the checkout line at a store and you've had a stressful day or something, you can reclaim a moment for yourself just by giving your nervous system some nourishment with these 3 ways in just this first exercise. Okay. And nobody has to know that you're doing it. You just do it for yourself. Okay. I'm going to read the next story to you, and you can just relax and take in this story. Have some deep breaths if you want to. Using our discernment can transform the whole situation that we're in. Many years ago, a spiritual mentor of mine told a group of us this story. She was a mature woman already at that time with all white hair and a very petite size, and the physical profile of a person that we often think of as a quote unquote easy target for an attack. She was walking in a city that she didn't know and somehow wound up in what she considered to be a scary neighborhood. She was feeling very uneasy with the people around her when 2 people in particular started walking right toward her. And she perceived them to have very suspicious behavior. One of them walked ahead and came up behind her as the other one was walking right up to her with an aggressive manner. As soon as they got close, she said, "Oh, thank goodness you're here. I'm not sure how I wound up here. I'm so glad that you found me before I got myself in danger." They were so taken aback by her flipping the switch on them that they instantly became her protectors, and they helped her safely get to where she was going. And I remember her saying, like, you know, these people were like, "Oh man, you can't be around here. You're not safe. Let us help you out." You know, they helped her immediately get to the street that she was supposed to be on. So what happened for her was she trusted her intuition to flip the situation on them. And it was the right thing for her to do in that moment. And I personally now use my discernment in that way every single day in making decisions large and small. And I teach all of my private clients and my friends and other loved ones how to use this, how to use their intuition, their deep sense of inner knowing. And again, this goes back to knowing your truth, right? How to use that. So I want to invite you to just take a brief moment and reflect on what your deep sense of inner knowing feels like. How do you know when your deep sense of inner knowing is pointing you toward your truth, especially when it's an important truth? Just reflect on that for just a moment. Yeah, really good. How's that feeling? Does everyone have a sense of their deep inner knowing? Good, seeing some heads nod, excellent. So this second exercise that I love to share, and let's see. Yeah, this one is, who can I enlist for support right now? I feel like this is so important for us to know. It's really helpful for us to know who's on our team, whether we're at home, whether we're in our work environment, in our role as healers, or wanting to be in our role as healers and not finding that space for ourselves. We can always enlist support, whether it's physical support from another person, or whether it's support from the unseen realms. You know, us as healers, we often have a good relationship with the unseen realms, right? So on the handout, you'll see that there's 2 things that I'm inviting you to take a look at. And the first thing is using your discerning, your deep sense of inner knowing, to know what are 3 specific people in your life or workplace who are usually safe for you. And I don't want you to do this right now, because I think we're probably going to be running short on time, but I want to make sure that we have a little bit of space for 1 or 2 other things. Oh, you're welcome, Jessica. And so that's the first one in this second exercise. And the second one in this second exercise is, what are 3 types of people that are generally safe for you most of the time, right? And just to give an example on that second one, I know that usually people who are self-aware are safe for me. Usually people who are self-aware are safe for me, right? I also know that usually people who are not triggered into a deep sense of anger are safe for me, right? So just a couple of examples for you to go on later when you start, when you do this exercise. And then another thing to just contemplate on that second exercise is filling in the rest of this sentence. People are safe for me when. People are safe for me when. So I gave an example here. So people are safe for me, and this is my own personal example. People are safe for me when they demonstrate that they hear me, see me, and care about me in the present moment. So someone that cared about me a year ago that I haven't seen for a year, I don't know if they still care about me, right? In the present moment. Remember, we talked about how important it is to be current, right? So those are, I really love these exercises. And by the way, all these things that I'm sharing with you are things that I cultivated along the way. I started doing healing work in 1994, and all these practices are things that I've learned along the way since then, whether it's working with my own clients or being a client of someone else. But these are all things that I've used on myself and others many, many times. And so they are absolutely tried and true and very effective. And you can probably already sense that in yourself as we're going along. Okay. I'm just going to have a pause and let you all have a deep breath. Know that there's a lot to take in these really simple exercises. They're very potent. So the last practice that we'll do together, the last tool that I'll share, is embodying safety. So we'll do a physical anchor or cue. When I was putting this together, it was suggested that I offer 3 stories, and in a way I did, and in a way I didn't. But the cool part is that the third story is your story. So how we're going to bring some attention and focus to your story is I'm inviting you to now just reflect on this time that we've spent together and this last close to an hour of time. And just feel into what is healing within you. And you don't necessarily have to come up with words, or if you do have words that come through, that's fine too, that's great. But just take a note of, reflect on what is healing within you in this time that we've been together tonight. A deep breath into that. And then locate where that feels the most prominent in your body. Where does that healing from tonight feel the most prominent in your body? The healing that's happened for you in our time together here. And you're invited to place a hand over that place in your body. And if it happens to be a place that's on your back body, you can place your hand where, on your front body and know that it's going through to your back body. So you're invited to place a hand where you feel it the most. And if you haven't yet, you can relax or close your eyes and breathe into that place. Feel the warmth of your hand into that place. As you're feeling that healing in your physical body, consider if this healing experience tonight were a movie, what would you title it? If this healing experience were a movie, what would you title it? And just breathe that title into your body. You're invited to take your hand and gently tap on that place in your body. And as you're doing so, you're invited to say that title 3 times. So let's say, for example, if your title were, I know my truth, you would just breathe and tap and say, I know my truth. I know my truth. I know my truth. And so whatever your title is, go ahead and do that. Good. When you're ready, you can release the tapping. Pause and breathe deeply. Good. When you're ready, you can open your eyes to the light around you and come back to the space with us. Yes. I want to have a moment to share, and briefly before we share, I just wanted to mention that a lot of times when we receive tools like these, it can start to spark within us a realization that, oh, I think I need a little more support than what I have right now. And so I want to let you know that there is an opportunity to receive some further support with me. And I'm inviting you to have a complimentary personal consultation that I'm calling the Empower Hour, so that you can actually have expert guidance on your #1 personal evolution challenge, so that you can, so that we can see together what will help you move into living in power. Okay. And as a bonus, you'll see yourself in your personal power much more clearly. And many people who have had this experience of the Empower Hour with me have discovered things about themselves and the difficulties that they're dealing with that they actually didn't really know before or didn't realize before. And it's likely that you'll experience something similar. So like I said, we'll assess your situation together, and you'll experience being seen, heard, and valued as a whole person on a soul-led journey of personal evolution. And at the end, you'll be respectfully invited into a supportive program or service that is most appropriate for your next step. And Sharon's put the link to the Empower Hour session with me in the chat. So feel free to grab that link while we're here together so that you can schedule that after this call. So we'll just have a minute or two. How much time do you think we might have, Sharon, for shares?
We're right at the top of the hour, but I think we can stay a little bit, a few minutes, and so people can share.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So who would like to share about their healing experience or anything else that came through for you tonight as we shared this space together? Or maybe you want to share your quote unquote movie title of this healing experience. Yeah, Victoria, I love that you're being vocal. I have to share, I'll say this just briefly. When I first met Victoria, being vocal was not her jam. So I really love that you're being vocal this evening.
Girlfriend, It's been an incredible couple of years. Like the things I have to tell you.
Yeah, good. I want to hear them.
We
Yeah,
will
well,
soon.
okay, good.
But,
Yeah.
but in response to your question, for me,
Yeah.
this hour has been really refreshing. It's been exactly what I needed because I've been working a lot on personal relationships and friendships, which has always been a struggle for me due to prior abuse growing up. And so I'm trying to relearn and reteach myself that having relationships with other people is okay. You know, I feel like the base human emotion is love and everything else is just learned behavior.
Yes.
And for me, the title of my movie would be Moving Forward with Love.
Wow, thank you. I love that. Moving forward with love. That's really beautiful. I really deeply appreciate what you said about relearning having relationships with other people. I think that multiple different types of trauma, like for me, medical trauma has been really prevalent since I had cancer a few years ago. And I'm really connecting with what you're saying that, yeah, relearning how to have relationships is important. And you're right, love, everything else is learned behavior. Love it. Thank you. Who else would like to share for a moment?
Monique typed something in the chat. She
Yeah.
said her movie title is You Know What You're Doing.
Oh, yes, ma'am. You do know what you're doing. Yes, ma'am. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. I bet a lot of us either here or watching the recording can relate to receiving that as a healing. And that's beautiful. Thank you. And Jessica, if you're still with us, you're welcome to share if you'd like. Just let us know.
Jessica had to jump off just a few minutes ago to tend her children. She says she'll finish watching the video.
Perfect. Thank you. Good. Well, it was nice to have you while you were here, Jessica. Okay, I'll give it one more offer for anyone to share before we complete. Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
Mute. There we go. I titled mine Empower Hour or Empower Moment, depending on which works the best in the situation.
Like that's so good.
When I have time to spend an hour to give that to myself, it'll be an Empower Hour. When it's a moment I have to pick right away, it's Empower Moment. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I mean, I'm going to speak for myself, but I may kind of be speaking for us all. I think we might be borrowing that. Thank you.
Be my guest. Then we can all have it together and make it more powerful.
Yes. Yes, I'm with that. Oh, thank you. That's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you for leading me to give it to myself.
It's deeply my pleasure. Okay, ladies. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. My heart is feeling swollen in a beautiful way. I really appreciate all of you taking this time, not only to be here with us, but for yourself. This is really important. My wish is that you get to have, that you choose many more of these moments. And as Sharon Walker just demonstrated for us, you can choose an hour or you can choose a moment. And I so love that. It's really true. All right. I'd love to see all of you for your Empower Hour consultation. And yeah, go ahead and grab that link if you haven't yet and schedule, take a look at my schedule and pick a time that's good for you. Sharon, thank you so much for being the extraordinary support person that you are. Even just seeing your face really helped me remember time.
Oh,
So that was really beautiful. And knowing that, you know, someone was there to look at the chat in case something important came forward was really helpful. Thank you so much.
you're so welcome, Yeshe.
And thank you again, everyone. Well, I will let you move into the rest of your evening, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions too about the Empower Hour or about this time that we spent together. Love you all. Big love. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.